Check, here we go. I better check what these are called. Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're taking a closer look at these. The Altra Olympus 275. I don't know why they've just jumped up to the 275, but that's what they've done. And here they are. And this is my review on them. I know they've been out for a long time, so anyone who's looking to buy these probably won't care about this video, but it's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I wanted to do it, and sometimes I use bits of kit out on my adventures, and I think to myself, I'm going to do a review on that just to give my thoughts, because I have these thoughts. It's like I'm pregnant with a review, and I just need to birth it. And I've been up the duff with this shoe review for quite some time now, and so please pass the forceps and let's get ready to deliver. That's quite good. I've had a few different shoes from Altra. I started with the Lone Peak. I had two sets of them. And then I went over to the Olympus 5s. And let me just say this, and it'll be blatantly obvious the more you listen to me, but I really am not a specialist. I've got no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to shoes and stuff. I just know the basics, and I know what works, and I know what works in the field. Everything that I talk about is tried and tested, so it's just my opinion on it. There are loads better channels if you want to get stuck into the nitty-gritty of stuff. I went over to these for the cushioning, and I'll be honest, all it was I saw a YouTube review of someone saying, if you want comfort over the long miles, then I'd go for something with a bit more cushioning, and I did. And these have been brilliant. The Olympus 5s were excellent. I put hundreds of miles on these things, but like with the other ones, they last me about a year and then they're done. The grips have gone on the bottom, and with these ones I found that on the side where they've got the perforated material for airflow, it's created quite a weak spot where they've given away on both sides at the same spot, and I now have big holes on both sides. For me, that's a design flaw, and that happened not soon after buying them, maybe 50 miles in. But I kept wearing them because they're not cheap, these things. These, at the time of me making a review, I'm looking online now, and these are £170, reduced to 150 because of the sales. So 150 quid for a pair of trainers that aren't going to last you more than a year if you use them extensively. A little bit of background for people who aren't aware of my other channel: I mainly use these for long distance multi-day hikes over mountainous terrain, doing upwards of between 20 and 30 miles a day, and I also do a bit of trail running and a bit of running at home just to keep the lads at bay. But I mainly use them for long distance hiking, and that's where I'm coming from on this, as a long distance hiker. Very comfortable, but they've shat it along here. They've started to give way, and at the front as well. But before they did go, extremely comfortable. Love the wide toe boxes on them. Plenty of room for your feet to swell, and I've never really had a problem with blisters. Sublime. So with that, I thought, well, they've had it. Let's upgrade to these. I've had these a few months. I've maybe put 150 to 200 miles on them, and these are my thoughts. They are, first of all, let's go with the aesthetics. They're mad looking, aren't they? You might like that sort of stuff, but they're pretty garish. They've got a huge cushioned sole on them. Just going off the website, a size 8 UK is 340 grams. The soles and the grips, when they're new, these things, it's like being a gecko. They're fantastic. I don't find them slippy at all. They grip really well, even in the wet. Very comfy. I've had them soaking wet and they dry out pretty fast. That's one of the reasons why I prefer trail runners through the nicer months. Not in winter, but summer, spring and autumn. They dry out really well. They just have the loops at the back. They no longer have, which I quite like. The Olympus 5 had the Velcro at the back. If you want to be using the gaiters, the Ultra gaiters, which I do have a pair of, which I used to use on these. Brilliant. but these don't have that. The shoelaces, I don't know what the shoelaces are made of, but very grippy. I mean, I tie my shoelaces pretty well, but they're very grippy. I've had no problem with them coming undone. The material is a lot sturdier, and on the weak spots where these have broke, these are holding fast. No damage to report. These are 0 drop as well. The thing is, because they're so expensive, I'm committed to these now, because I ain't got another 150 to shell out. And no one's going to want to buy these stinky odd 150 milers, are they? My first bugbear is when they get soaking wet, the insole comes loose and rides up the side of your feet, and that is a pain, especially if you're doing long miles. That can eventually lead to blisters. I've fixed it in place since, and I haven't had a problem, but you don't expect that. For the amount of money you pay for these, you don't want the inner sole riding all over the place. Another thing that has really ground my gears with these is the squeaking. None of the other Ultras I've had have squeaked, and these things, mate, it just feels like I'm wearing some sort of glove puppet on my feet and they're both having a chat to each other. It's crazy. And even somebody, when I was out and about, commented on how squeaky I was. They said they heard me walking through a village in these. And when you hear that sort of stuff, because in your mind you're like, right, I'm pumping out the big miles here, I'm doing a bit, life is good, look at me go. And then people are just like, he sounds like a Sesame Street character. Like that. And it sent me, if I'm honest. It really did send me. The overall feel of these, because I've been out the game for a while. I got the 5s last time, so I've missed a couple of generations. And I just feel that the overall quality for price ratio is lacking. I should be spending that much money on these, and I shouldn't really be having much bad to say about them, but I do. I will wear these until they fall off, and that can't come soon enough. I think they've got maybe another 300 mile in them, I reckon. Another 200, 300 mile in these, and then they're getting binned off for something else. That's something I don't know, and that's one of the reasons that I've done this video. One, I just needed to vent the fact that these were very squeaky, the soles moved around, and I haven't been overly impressed with them. If it wasn't for the sole moving about and the noise they made, I'd be over the moon with them. I mean, I look like I'm going to the moon in them. Look at that, Marty McFly. Once these have been worn away, I'm jumping ship from the Ultras. I'd like to try something different. So if you've got any recommendations, please put them down in the comments and I'll definitely check that out. I should have gone through more of the specs really, but I haven't. It's just my opinion. Good, comfy. Are they worth that huge price tag? For me, no. And in hindsight, I would have been looking elsewhere. But I'm pot committed to these now until they fall off. So if you're in the Lake District or the Yorkshire Dales and you hear a squeaking, it could be a couple of Muppets having sex. Or it could be me out for my morning stroll. And there you go. Stay tuned for some more reviews. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.